Did you know there's an island in Japan where concrete apartment blocks rise from the sea like a forgotten fortress, where hallways echo with silence, and where an entire community once lived, worked, and dreamed? Only to vanish almost overnight? This is the story of one of Japan's most haunting places, an abandoned island frozen in time. From a distance, the island looks unreal. Dark gray buildings crowd together so tightly that they seem to fuse into a single mass of concrete. Waves crash violently against seawalls, and seabirds circle above ruins that haven't heard human voices in decades. No lights glow at night, no smoke rises from chimneys. And yet, this island was once one of the most densely populated places on Earth. So how did it end up completely abandoned? To understand that, we need to travel back more than a century, to a time when Japan was transforming itself into an industrial powerhouse. The island was originally nothing more than a small rock jutting out of the sea. For centuries, no one lived there permanently. Fishermen passed by, but no one thought it was suitable for life. That changed in the late 1800s, when coal was discovered beneath the seabed surrounding the island. Coal was everything back then. It powered ships, factories, trains, and the rapid modernization of Japan. As demand exploded, mining companies rushed to secure every possible source. The island, despite its tiny size and brutal conditions, suddenly became incredibly valuable. To extract the coal, engineers began an ambitious project. They expanded the island using reclaimed land and built massive seawalls to protect it from typhoons. Then, they constructed housing, schools, hospitals, shops, bathhouses, and even entertainment facilities. Everything had to be stacked vertically because there was almost no horizontal space. What emerged was a self-contained city in the middle of the ocean. At its peak, the island housed more than 5,000 residents on an area barely larger than a few city blocks. Families lived in concrete apartment buildings, children went to school, and daily life followed a strict rhythm shaped by the mine. From above, it looked less like an island and more like a battleship, earning it a nickname that would later become famous. But life there was far from easy. Miners worked deep underground, sometimes more than a kilometer beneath the sea floor. The tunnels were hot, dark, and dangerous. Coal dust filled the air, and accidents were common. Despite the risks, people stayed, because the jobs paid well and housing was provided. For many families, this island represented opportunity and stability. Children played on rooftops because there was nowhere else to go. Gardens were planted in pots. Windows looked out not onto nature, but onto other buildings just a few meters away. The sound of the ocean was constant, a reminder that escape wasn't simple. Still, the island was alive. Then everything changed. In the mid-20th century, the world began to shift away from coal. Oil became cheaper and more efficient. Japan, always quick to adapt, restructured its energy strategy. One by one, coal mines across the country shut down. When the coal beneath the island was no longer profitable, the decision was swift and final. The mine would close. What happened next is what makes this island so unsettling. In just a matter of weeks, the entire population left. Families packed their belongings. Schools shut their doors. Shops closed forever. Boats arrived not to bring supplies, but to take people away for the last time. There was no gradual decline, no slow decay of community. One day, the island was full of life. The next, it was empty. Imagine walking away from your home knowing you will never return. Doors were left shut. Furniture remained inside apartments. Calendars stayed on walls, frozen on their final dates. Children's shoes were left behind. Bottles, dishes, and personal items sat exactly where they were last used. Then the sea took over. Without maintenance, salt air and storms began to eat away at the concrete. Windows shattered, roofs collapsed, plants pushed through cracks in the buildings. Typhoons battered the island year after year, tearing at structures never meant to be abandoned. For decades, no one was allowed to visit. The island became a ghost on the horizon, visible from passing boats but unreachable. Rumors began to circulate. Some said the island was cursed. Others claimed to hear voices carried by the wind. Urban explorers dreamed of stepping inside, but access was forbidden due to safety concerns. The silence only made the mystery grow. When limited tours were finally allowed many years later, visitors were shocked. The island looked like a scene from a post-apocalyptic movie. Narrow corridors stretched into darkness. Staircases led to nowhere. Classrooms still had chalkboards. Apartments felt as if their owners had just stepped out moments ago. But beneath the mystery lies a more complicated and uncomfortable history. During wartime, forced labor was used in the mines. Workers endured extreme conditions, and many suffered or died. This part of the island's past remained largely unspoken for years, adding another layer of tension to its legacy. The abandoned buildings are not just ruins, they are witnesses. Today, the island stands as a paradox. On one hand, it represents Japan's rapid modernization, technological ambition, and industrial success. On the other, it is a symbol of how quickly progress can leave people and places behind. What was once cutting edge became obsolete almost overnight. Nature continues to reclaim what humans built. Concrete crumbles, steel rusts, the ocean, patient and relentless, waits. And that's what makes this island so fascinating. It wasn't destroyed by war. It wasn't erased by disaster. It was simply left behind. A perfectly functioning city, abandoned because the world moved on. When you look at images of the island today, it feels like time stopped there. But everywhere else kept going. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about our own cities, our industries, and our dependence on systems that could one day disappear just as suddenly. If an entire community can vanish from one island in a matter of days, what does that say about the permanence of the places we live in now? And if the same thing happened today, would we even see it coming? So knowing all this, why do you think this Japanese island still captivates the world? And could there be other modern cities quietly heading toward the same abandoned fate?